Hey guys, today we're going to take a look at the new cellular camera from StealthCam, which is the WXA. This is a brand new cellular trail camera that they just released here recently, and what we're going to do is we're going to unbox this thing, we're going to show you the camera, and then we're going to walk you through setting this camera up and activating it online with your AT&T wireless plan. So cool thing about the StealthCam wireless cameras is they come with everything in the box that you're going to need to set this up, including the AT&T SIM card. So no more having to go to the AT&T store or go anywhere else and buy a SIM card. It's going to come in your package. This is a very quick and easy setup. And for those of you that have used cellular cameras in the past, you know the advantages, right? You get messages or images sent directly to your phone. In this case, we're using the StealthCam remote app to not only get our images, but also control our camera remotely, which can really come in handy for you guys that are, like me, maybe several hours away from some of your properties that you hunt. You can't get there to check cameras as often as you like, or you want to put cameras in areas that you don't want to disturb by going in there a lot. You can set one of these guys in there and it's going to take pictures and send them directly to you. So really neat scouting tool. Want to show you the camera and show you guys how to set it up. All right, let's go ahead and pull this thing out of the box. You're going to see that it's, like I said, it's going to come with everything that you guys are going to need to set this thing up. So first thing you're going to notice, and one of the most important things, is you've got an antenna. You definitely need to attach this to the top of the camera. This is going to obviously control how it connects to your wireless network. So pull the thing out of the box. You're going to attach this antenna. Now it's also going to come with some very important things down in the bottom here. Let's get this open. This tree strap we don't need for right now, but what we are going to need is this AT&T SIM card as well as the directions. The SIM card has to go in this device, otherwise it will not connect to AT&T's network. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this stuff out. It's going to come with the overall instructions for the camera itself. So it's going to be very similar to the rest of the stealth cameras that are out there in terms of how easy it is to set up, set the date, the time, the timeout, the resolution. All those instructions are going to be in here. We're not going to cover those today because they're pretty straightforward. So we're going to set this aside. Got a StealthCam sticker for your truck or your bow case. The important ones are going to be this: how to connect your camera to the AT&T network as well as the SIM card. So what I like to do is open the camera up at this point, and I'm going to go ahead and put batteries in it. These particular cameras are going to take 12 AA batteries, so it's got a battery tray that slides out of the bottom. Now when you're using a cellular camera, I don't care what brand it is, you want to make sure that you're using lithium batteries, right? These things require more juice than a standard camera because it's connecting to a cellular network. If you want this thing to last and not have to go out and change it every couple of weeks, you want to put lithium batteries in it, or what I do is I prefer to use an external battery box. HME makes a great battery box. It actually has a solar panel connected to it, so it keeps the battery charged as well, and then it plugs into a small port on the bottom of the camera right here. That way you literally don't have to go change your camera, really ever. You shouldn't have to for at least a few months, if not a year. So for purposes of today's video, all I had laying around the office, of course, were alkaline batteries. So don't do what I'm doing. You actually want to use lithiums, but for purposes of just testing and getting this thing set up, regular alkalines are fine. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to load the batteries into it. We're also going to put an SD card in it, just to make sure that there's a card in the camera. So now that we've got those done, we're going to go ahead and turn the camera on, and we're going to put it to the test mode so that we can record the IMEI number of this particular camera. All right, now that we're in test mode, the camera is going to display the IMEI number, which is the unique identifier for this device. So I like to go ahead and write that number down right on my instructions so I have it handy when I go online to set up my account. Now the next step is very important. You're going to go to AT&T's website and you're going to actually log into your existing account and add a new device, or you're going to go ahead and set up a new account and then add your device. The website you guys want to go to is buyasession.att.com. It's a very specific URL, which is right here in your instructions if you forget it. It's buyasession.att.com. This is going to allow you to go in and buy a prepaid data-only session, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and get logged into my AT&T account because I already have several of these devices out there, and I'm going to set this up. All right, now that I'm logged into AT&T's website, I'm going to click on the Add a Device button. It's going to ask me for 3 pieces of information. We're going to need the IMEI number, which of course I wrote down earlier from my camera. Then we're going to need the ICC ID number, which is coming off of the SIM card. When you look at the back of this card that AT&T gives you or StealthCam gives you, it's going to list the ICC ID number right here, which happens to also be the same number that's on the card itself. So you can get it from either the back of the card, the SIM card, or from this kind of credit card looking thing. So you're going to put IMEI number, ICC ID number, and then you're just going to give your device a nickname. So if you've got multiple cameras, it can be camera 1, camera 2, camera 3. Really doesn't matter what you put in. So we're going to go ahead and enter that information now. All right, so now that we've added our device in here, we have to select a plan, right? The most popular plan that guys are using for their trail cameras is 2 gigs of data for 3 months, which is $25. So it works out to a little bit more than $8 a month per camera, which is relatively affordable because most of us only have, a small handful of cameras. So I'm going to go ahead and select the 2 gigabytes of data for 3 months, and this is an LTE. So these are 4G cameras, so they're going to give you the best coverage. And you put in your credit card information, and that's it. Once that's done, you have now purchased 3 months of data, or I should say you've purchased 2 gigabytes of data for 3 months. Now why that's important is if you get a lot of pictures or you set this camera to upload large resolution images, you're going to run through that data relatively quickly. So my personal preference is to upload the smaller resolution images. It keeps the high-res images on the actual SD card. So when I go check it, if I want the big images for some reason, I can have them on the SD card, but the ones that are sent to my phone or uploaded to the cloud are the low-resolution images. So that way I can upload more of them and not use up all of that data. So now that we've got our plan activated, really the last couple things we need to do are pop this SIM card out of here, right? It's very simple. You're just going to break the SIM card out of here, and then it plugs into the side of the camera here on the opposite side from your SD card, right? And once you do that, you're going to go ahead and get your SIM card. Actually, I should flip it the right direction. Get your SIM card in, and now you're good to go. This camera is now going to be able to connect to the wireless network, but there's still some more stuff that we're going to need to do before we can use it, right? Because this camera needs to connect to StealthCam in order to upload the images. So what you're going to want to do is get your smartphone. I've got an iPhone. You're going to want to download the StealthCam remote app. So go to the store, whether it's iOS or Android, and search for StealthCam remote. You're going to install that app on your phone. Now, if it's the first time you're installing it, it's going to ask you to create an account, which is very simple. You're going to put in a username and a password, and that's it. Once you have that username and password set up, you're going to go back to your camera, and when you turn this camera on, you're going to have 2 different options for menus. You're either going to go into the cellular setup or the camera setup. In this particular instance, we want to go into the cellular settings. So we're going to go into cellular settings, and then we're going to choose the cellular wizard. That's going to walk us through everything we need to do to connect this camera. So once this starts connecting, we hit the start button. What it's going to do is it's going to go ahead and connect to the data network, verify that you actually have a connection. Then this camera is going to ask you to input your username and password. It's going to be the same username and password you used for the app on your phone. The way that this works is when this camera gets a picture taken and it wants to transmit it, it sends it up to the StealthCam servers, which is what your app talks to. So the StealthCam servers are in the cloud, so it goes from here to the cloud, and then your app communicates with their cloud server. So you want to make sure you put the same username and password in this camera that you put into your app. Once you do that, everything's going to connect automatically. You're able then to come back to your app. You should see your camera. Now we've got our StealthCam camera has been added, and I can go in and I can manage all the settings for my camera right from this app. So I can control the frequency at which it uploads photos, the resolution, the time of day that it uploads. I can change the burst rate, the name of my camera. All the settings that you can change from this menu, you can now control from your cell phone. And that's really it, guys. I mean, there's not a whole lot to it. It takes you about 15 minutes to get one of these things set up. Once it's all good to go, you put this out in the woods just like any trail camera. Make sure you got good cell service before you leave, and you're ready to go. Before you know it, you'll have pictures right directly to your phone. One warning to everybody out there, I gotta tell you, these cellular trail cameras are very addicting. Once you get them, all you want to do is buy more of them. They are very, very handy, like I said earlier, especially for guys like me that have hunting properties that are several hours away and you only get out there to check cameras every so often. Or, probably even more importantly is, getting these back into some of the more remote or secure areas of your property that you don't like to step foot in a lot. Some of those bedding areas that are sensitive to human pressure. You can go in there once, get a camera set up, and this thing's going to be able to send you data even when you're not there. So again, guys, this is the WXA camera from StealthCam. It is a brand new camera, just came out for this year. This is the AT&T version. This is a 4G LTE camera, so it's going to be the latest and greatest technology. The app works awesome. So guys, if you're in the market for a cellular camera, definitely give this one a look.